Hey everyone, how are you all doing? So, let's start today's class. So, some of you might face an issue about the Jira software, like it sometimes can say it will charge around $10. But don't worry, there's an option to try it for free. I've mentioned it in the previous video. You don't need to pay for it, just select the try it for free option, then you won't be charged during this period. Okay? So, how far has everyone progressed with their work? And have you faced any challenges or issues with the Excel or anything? If you find an issue, I can assist. Okay? So, um, for editing and copying into Confluence, go to the edit option on the Confluence link. So go to edit. Then you don't need to edit anything in the original document. Instead, copy everything you need and paste the copied content in your own account. Start creating new documents from this content. Okay. The new test cases and reports you are working on will differ from the original document. However, some parts of the original content will remain the same and can be reused. By copying and pasting, you save time and avoid rewriting common elements. Okay, so if import export doesn't work, you can manually create pages in your account. Like copy content from the original link, reorganize into your own account by creating a parent and child pages, then update the content based on your new findings and work progress. This manual creation is a good opportunity to practice creating pages and structuring documents effectively. Each group member should focus on their assigned tasks. Okay. For example, if some of you are working on login and registration, you should only work on that feature for now and share completed section with the team for integration. And by the end of the project, integrate all features into one comprehensive project. Now, how to integrate the Zephyr squad? Okay, now you can see this image here. First, install the Zephyr squad from the excuse me, uh, Jira marketplace. You can search by name here and you can select the application from there and enable it in Jira by navigating into the app setting. Check if the test issue type is available under create issue. If not, you can manually add it under Jira's issue type setting. After integrating the Zephyr squad, you can create test case, also execute tests within the Jira. If Zaphyr squad updates or you need encounter any missing features, report bugs and find workaround as needed. Okay. So there are many there you can create issue types in Jira. So common issue type can be include like story, bug, and epic. Okay, you can see that you can select the issue type. Uh, Previously there was an issue type named test, but due to updates, it might no longer be available by default in some versions. Test cases may now need to create manually or managed using additional plugins or tools. Only one person can be assigned to an issue at a time. The assignee is responsible for completing the tasks, whether it's development or testing. Now, to create subtasks, you can see here, subtasks were created under the registration as part of Epic 1. They are sometimes referred to as a child issue. So, you need to understand the hierarchy of this process, like Epic, stories, tasks, subtasks. Okay. Before starting a sprint, all issues must be prioritized and assigned to epics. Any issues without an epic are assigned to the product owner, who can determine their relevancy and priority. Excuse me. In the pre-refinement session, the business analyst introduces user story to formats like CSRS, Software Requirement Specification, or BRS, Business Requirement Specification. After refinement, these stories are ready for the sprint and can be developed by the team. Now, what is the role of the business analyst? The business analyst is responsible for creating the BRS after analyzing the client's requirements. They present user stories during pre-refinement sessions to align the team with the project's goal. The process begins with the product backlog. Then the business analyst prepares the necessary documents like BRS or SRS. Then issues are refined, assigned to epics, and moved to the sprint backlog. The developers build the features followed by the testing team by QA testers. Now let's know about the difference between assignee and reporter. So assignee is the person responsible for completing the tasks. For example, developer for coding, tester for testing. And the reporter is who logs and documents the issue or task, like writing test case, reporting bugs, etc. So the reporter is the individual who writes and reports the test cases in the designated reporter column of the test case template. And the person assigned to execute and complete the testing of that particular case is called the assignee. Okay, now see here, you can see here there is reporter, there is assignment. In some companies, instead of the term parent, the term epic is used. Okay, epic represents major feature sets, and under each epic there can be multiple sprints, like sprint 1, sprint 2, etc. So here you can see there is epic and there is multiple sprint. For example, if epic 2 might involve my account functionality. In sprint 1, you might work on mandatory field tests, and sprint 2, you might handle the create button test. To avoid confusion, always use a sprint ID for precise tracking of which sprint belongs to which sprint. Now, how do you find the sprint ID? Go to filters, then go to view all issues, and then select the sprint. Then switch to search JQL or Jira query language and copy the sprint ID here. There is also another method which you can do by opening the backlog, hover over the epic or sprint, and check the URL on the bottom left. Now, user stories remain in the sprint backlog until business analysts refine them and story points are assigned and sprint planning is completed. Subtasks are then created by the team leads, for example, technical lead for developers, test lead for testers. Development and testing managers distribute subtasks to specific developers or QA testers. Okay. Now to write test case in Zaphyr, go to the Zaphyr squad and create folders for grouping related test cases. For example, login 01, add to cart 01, etc. Then navigate to the new test case option and fill in the details like name, validate the login page. You can write validate login page with mandatory fields. An objective can be like clearly state the purpose, for example, validate login functionality for successful account access. And preconditions can be the entry requirements, for example, a functional login page URL. Then assign the test case to the appropriate folder. Okay. And in labels, specify the type like regression, smoke testing, etc. So here you can see you can assign them and priority like define urgency, for example, high for critical functionalities like login, and estimate the time like we have given here 15 minutes. Then save the case to generate a test case ID and assign it to a responsible team member. Now, test case concepts has two options like precondition versus test data. Precondition is the prior condition needed before starting the test. For example, a clean web page or a specific user credentials. And a test data, the resources or inputs required to execute the test, like test credentials or sample data files, etc. So, are you more interested in manual testing or automation testing and why? Automation testing is not as effortless as the name suggests. You will need to write code for automating the tasks. It's not automatic magic. But don't worry, as we proceed, you will see the difference and let's you can decide what works best for you, okay? So, practice is the key. Repetition help familiarize yourself with the platform tools and terminologies like Jira and Confluence. If you want shortcut, like tutorials for every single steps, they exist. But nothing beats real-time practice. Watching a tutorial won't give you hands-on experience. You've got to do it by yourself. Okay? Then we'll start with the test scripts. Uh, so there are the steps. Uh, here you can select the type. Okay, there are two types, step by step or the Gherkin method. So the step by steps is sequential actions written clearly. And the Gherkin method or given when then is like behavior driven development. It describes behavior using specific formats like given a precondition, when an action happens, then the expected result occurs. Now let's write a test script step by step. I'll show you how. Open the Jira Zaphyr squad and navigate to a test case template. For example, the login page test case. Okay. Now navigate to the login page using the provided URL. In test data, input the URL. For example, like www.example.com slash login. Okay, it's like a demo link. Then I'll write this expected results like the login page, what the login page should be displayed. Then is step to identify the mandatory fields like username, password, email, etc. Here the test data can be username, email, password, and the expected results can be mandatory fields should be clickable and typable. Now for test execution, we haven't performed it yet. We'll do that later. For now, remember that the save button is your best friend. Okay. If Zephyr Squad or Jira lags and doesn't display your test cases, here is a workaround. For this workaround, you navigate to your project directly, then click on the project name and go to the Zephyr Squad. Okay. You can use both the steps like step by step and the given one, then etc. It's up to you. You can click on the test case and you will show options like add, edit, or delete page. Uh, if you forget any steps or encounter any issue, then you can ask me. I will show you how to do it. Okay. Now, for assessing the user story, first you have to you have to go to the project, then get a specific user story. Uh, you will go to the backlog section. From there, find the user story you want to work on. So here we can, for example, take the user story login page. Now here's a pro tip. Instead of right-clicking and selecting open a new tab, just press Ctrl and click on the user story, and it's open a new tab. It can save you time, right? Okay. Then inside the user story, you will get the Zephyr Squad section. This is where you manage the test cases. You will get two options here. Create a new test case and add an existing test case. Okay, here you can see that option. Then, if you already have a test case, say for validating login with mandatory fields, you can just click on add an existing test case. A list of your previously test cases will pop up. Then select the reliable one and check the box. So here you can see that there is an existing test case. You can see that and click add. That's it. It's now linked to your account. After that, if you want to create a new test right from the user story, click the plus sign. This will take to the test case selection screen. Okay. Now let's say we are creating a new test case for verify the login page has a new customer registration section. So here you can see in precondition, you can write the login page should display section for new customer registration. Then, uh, then after writing the precondition, open the login page and click on the new customer registration button and verify the form appears with field like first name, last name, email, etc. Okay, so you can see here. There is the field where you can write the first and last name. All right, now in expected results, you can write login page should load successfully. The new customer registration button should be visible and clickable. The form should display all required fields and allow inputs. Now, test case on their own don't mean much. You need to group them into test cycle to execute them. Okay. Now I will show you some steps. So first you need to go to the test cycle under the Zaphyr squad. Click on the create new test cycle and give it a name like test cycle login 1. You can see here, right? Test cycle login 1. Add details like the description, start date, and folder of which can be optional and save it. To bring the test cases to your test cycle, open the newly created test cycle, click add to test cases, then select the test case you want to include. For example, the login test case we just created. Then click add and share. After that, you can save as now your test cases are grouped and ready to be executed. For executing the test case, finally, go to the test cycle where test cases are added. Then click on the test case and you will see the execution detail. Here you will see the execution detail and update the test status like for pass, failed, or blocked in the right side of the column after running the test. Then you can save your progress as you want. So if all this feels overwhelming, don't worry. It's normal when you're learning something new. The more you practice creating and linking test cases, the faster it will click. For now, focus on understanding the step and practicing at your own pace. So if all this makes any sense, then good. If not, then you can knock me later and tell me about your problems. So I'll see you in your next class. Till then, take care of yourself. Okay?